banks as well as private sector. So we work with them so that the instrument is validated by them as well. Yeah. I'm showing you a sample of a government-linked company that went through this process with us. Yeah. So let's say, for example, this is the vision of this company. Yeah, so you can see there are descriptor. Descriptor here are the items. So I'm not putting there the detail here. There are 17. There are altogether 19 descriptors for vision and goals for this company. So you can see the benchmark level is the one in orange, but what they have achieved is actually the blue one. So you can see, like, for example, there are certain areas that they are above the benchmark level, but many other areas are actually below. Yeah, so we take note of that. So similarly for leadership, yeah, so some descriptors are below and some descriptors are above the benchmark. Infrastructure, so you can see there. And then compliance and policy, similarly. I'm not able to go into detail of this because of the time. But so what I'm trying to highlight here is actually we have the methodology, we have the research done on this, and we have the assessment involving different level of people in the organization. So organization structure is also another item. Disciplinary reward measure, so you can see benchmark versus actual, yeah, measurement and research summary, confidential advice support summary, ethics training and education, yeah, ethics communication summary, whistleblowing. So there are altogether 12 items here. So, and then we do the overall process. Like, for example, for this particular company, for vision and goal, they have obtained 62.2%. So level of progress is between 50 to 75. So they are actually quite good in that sense, yeah, because their level of vision and goal is quite robust. Similarly, in terms of leadership is 58.9. Infrastructure between 25 to 50. So what that means is actually they are still not quite there. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. So basically, I think we discuss with them. Legal compliance is quite high. So you can notice in terms of rules and policy, there are many, right? But in terms of implementation, that is the issue. Organizational culture, they claim they have, but in terms of disciplinary reward measure, they only get like 42%. So meaning it is not quite there yet. Measurement of research. So you can see some are quite high, and those with asterisk, yeah, are the areas that must be prioritized for improvement purposes. But of course, that was in 2015, yeah. And then with the improved version of digitalization, we have not, because previously I think we have done it using Excel, using what we call it, just questionnaire. But improved version of the digitalization, we have evolved, yeah. And then what we have also include now is actually anti-bribery management system, ABMS. So the later version, which I was also involved after 2015. So we revisit, and we also included ISO 37001. And this was used as an integrity assessment tool. And we also include corporate liability for board of directors. Yeah, in cases of fraud and leakages in organization, we have the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has developed an act, yeah, a legislation called corporate liability of board of directors, which need to be addressed. And with digitalization, the use of Power BI, for example, company were able to use self-assessment. Yeah? Like the first level, we did this at the workplace, but later on, they can do the self-assessment themselves. So then we revisited this much later in 2020. Yeah? So we have included anti-bribery system, etc.
Professor Nelma, we
Yeah.
have about 5 minutes.
Yes. I'm about to finish now. Yeah. So we have included, initially there were only about 12, and then the later instrument, we have included other things, and we have deleted some other things. So from 214 items initially, it has reduced to 127 items. Yeah. So until today, we have used the what we call it the improved version, and the item will also reduce significantly, and we produce infographic, like in the form of graph, so that they can see this more clearly. Like for example, for this particular company, a participant of the survey was 1,282. Yeah, majority of the qualification was degree, and then age group between 31 to 40 and 41 to 50. Yeah, and again, very much male dominated for this particular organization. So you can see the profile quite easily, instead of just using manual, yeah, as previously. And then use with the new version, which is used until today. Yeah, who is using? Yeah, the Malaysian Institute of Integrity, as well as the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. They are using this for companies registered in the company. So basically, so we have got here for this particular company, for example, yeah. They have improved in terms of question number 1. They have improved because the aim is actually to stop corruption. So you can see that there are many things that have been included to target anti-corruption question. Yeah. Yeah. So for this particular company, for example, you can see the foundation. We divided it into here: foundation, ethical culture, ethical risk management. Yeah. So you can see in terms of foundation, it is quite commendable. But in terms of ethical risk management as well as ethical culture, there are still need to be improved a lot. Yeah. So these are example of the selected companies. These are the different companies that participated. Yeah. So this is when the company is getting, for this particular company, for example, yeah, the overall score is about 82. So they can basically be used as a benchmark for other companies. So the scores has improved tremendously. So here, so what we have done, whatever result they have, so we put it this way. Yeah, if let's say, for example, their score is between 0 to 20%. Yeah, previously it was 0%. Yeah, but now if it is 0 to 20%, what it implies is they have very minimum ethics and integrity mindset. If it is with 21 to 40%, they have compliant mindset. They have what we call it, action is quite very slow. Yeah, but if it is 41 to 60%, they are quite robust. If it is between 61 to 80%, ethics integrity is already very systematic and robust. But if it is 81 to 100, we can consider them as current best practice. So what I'm trying to say here in this paper, yeah, I know I have like skipped a lot of detail, but you too, as academic, can play a significant role in nation building. Yeah, like what we did. I was heading this research for the academic in developing corporate integrity system at workplace. So thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Professor Norma. And in this hall, we give you a big round of applause. Thank you. Yeah, I have a few questions. Despite the slides that have very long, many pages, but I have listened to your presentation and I think it's very interesting. I have a question that because when you decide the corporate integrity pledge, and you just mentioned that 82 companies, right, that have been used this one, used service. Yep. How often that they have to reassess this one? Uh, do you have
Yeah,
any timeline for the reassessment? Because people come and go. When we do the integrity assessment, we do for the corporate point of view, right?
yeah.
And
Mm.
then when people move and also the reassessment, could you please inform us about this?
Yeah, because it involves a lot of organization agencies here. First, the all companies, yeah, especially listed companies, they want to show that they are what we call it, they are of high integrity. So they sign up corporate integrity pledge with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Agency, and this pledge will last for 2 years. Yeah. So after 2 years, they will do
Valid for
assessments.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. So initially, after 2 years, we would have to go there again. But then with the technology, now they are doing self-assessment. They will, because when they do self-assessment with the new technology, with digitalization, the result can be obtained immediately. What they need to do is actually they just need to submit the MACC to renew their pledge. Yeah. So the good thing about this is actually there are many level of employees. Yeah. The board of directors, the top management, the middle management, and the lower management. So practically, sample includes everybody, every category in the organization. So it is quite interesting to see because they use the instrument, yeah, because it is administered. Initially, we administer it. We meaning the academic group administer it, and we develop. But then later on, they have what we call it integrity officer, who administer the assessment at the workplace. So they can do after. So meaning they need to submit, and then the MACC will renew their corporate integrity pledge.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is very interesting and also very new thing. It's kind of the new innovation. If I would say that every corporations, every company should take on this assessment that
Yeah.
will show their
Mm-mm.
integrity, that they involve and also they want to show their sincerity to the society. Thank you very much. I wish that we have more time to ask you and to discuss about this, but the time is so limited. Thank you very much, Professor
Thank you.
Norma.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your time. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Professor Norma, hang on a second. Anyone else would like to have the question for Professor Norma from the floor? Yeah. Uh, yeah, perhaps for the next opportunity, we invite Professor Norma to come on site. Yeah, then we can have the long discussions. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Okay.
very
Thank you.
much,
All right.
Professor Norma. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Professor Norma and Kathy, for the session. I'm very disappointed to announce that Professor Dr. Mosaddeq Ahmed Choudhury could not be with us here today because of the dense fog. So I think his flight has got delayed. So I sadly announce that he will not be here, and the session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Kathy Papong alone, unfortunately. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that it is okay to be me again. I would like to contribute a lot to the Bangladesh chapter, to the APMAA. Thank you for allowing me to be the chair for this session. I will continue. And in this session, okay, it is the topic that is also involved about the integrity. This one, the topic, let me introduce the integrity in corporate communication. And this one, it's the multidimensional AI approach. Now, because nowadays AI is very big thing for us. Everyone cannot deny to this, in the advancement of the AI. And the professor, that's also a friend of mine, who will also deliver the speech or the talk on this topic. She is the professor of accounting from Bankyo Sankuin University from Japan, and she is broadcast herself from Japan. I would like to introduce everyone to Professor Dr. Masumi Nakashima. Nakashima, the floor is yours. Professor Musami Nakashima, I couldn't hear you. Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. Thank you
Okay.
very much for kind introduction, Dr.
Department
Kashi.
Professor.
Okay, thank you for all joining this webinar today. So it is great honor for me to have this opportunity to share my research with the international audience. Today, sorry, I would like to share. Can you see my slide? Is this okay? Can you see my slide?
Yes,
Yes, I
can
can.
see. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so today I would like to talk about fundamental questions that has become increasingly important in capital market. How should we evaluate the quality of corporate disclosure behavior? More specifically, I will focus on whether existing institutional labels, such as market segmentation, are sufficient to capture how firms communicate economic reality to the market. In recent years, the global disclosure environment has undergone a significant transformation. Traditionally, the quality of financial reporting and corporate disclosure was assessed largely based on the amount of information disclosed and the degree of compliance with formal rule and standards. However, this perspective has gradually shifted. Today, regulators, investors, and researchers are paying increasing attention not only transparency, but also to credibility, consistency, and accountability in corporate communication. This shift is closely related to rapid expansion of ESG investing as the global development of sustainability disclosure framework. Initiatives such as the European Union CSRD and IASB IFRS S1 and S2, and the upcoming mandatory sustainability disclosing requirement in Japan all emphasize that disclosure is not merely a technical reporting exercise. Rather, disclosure is increasing understand as a form of dialogue between firm and market grounded in ethical responsibility. Despite this development, one implicit assumption remains strong both practice and research. That assumption is that market segmentation reflects the quality of corporation behavior, including disclosure behavior. In many markets, firms listed in the higher tier segment are often perceived as providing high quality disclosure, while those in lower tier segment are assumed to offer weaker or less reliable communication. So the start point of my research is a sense of discomfort with this assumption. When we closely examine actually disclosure document, we observe substantial variation in disclosure behavior even among firms within the same market segment. At the same time, some firms in lower tier segment provide higher, coherent, balanced, and faithful explanation of their economic condition. This suggests that market segmentation may capture formal entry requirements, such as firm size, liquidity, or government structure, but may not adequately reflect the quality of disclosure behavior itself. This observation leads a more fundamental question. What does it mean to look at the disclosure behavior? Disclosure behavior is not simply about listening information. It reflects how managers understand their firm economic reality, how they structure their narratives, and how they choose language to communicate with external stakeholders. In this sense, disclosure behavior is inherent behavior, ethical and institutional. So, based on this perspective, my research introduced the concept of the Market Integrity Index. We call it MII. MII is designed to measure extent to which firms communicate economic reality to the market in the faithful and consistent manner. Importantly, the MII does not evaluate outcomes such as stock price performance or financial success. Instead, it focuses on the manner in which firms explain themselves to the market. One important clarification is that MII is not for fraud detection tool. Rather, it is preventive and diagnostic framework aimed at identifying distortion in disclosure behavior before they escalate into explicit misconduct or scandals. While traditional forensic accounting trend to focus on what we went wrong after the fact, the MII seek to understand why certain disclosure behavior emerge and under what conditions they remain sound and credible. So the theoretical foundation of this framework rests on three pillars. First, behavioral ethics suggests that individuals do not necessarily act unethically by intention. Instead, organization pressure, cognitive limitation, and institutional norm often lead to ethical fading, where ethical consideration gradually move to the ground. Second, disclosure theory highlights that narrative characteristics such as readability, structure, and tone are not merely stylistic choices. They reflect managerial incentive and communication strategy. Third, the framework is closely aligned with the principle-based view accounting. From this perspective, compliance with detailed rule is less important than whether disclosure faithfully represent economic substance. Disclosure behavior is precisely where this principle-based judgment become more visible. So we move on. I move on hypothesis development. So first, with respect to governance mechanism, this study examines the role of both sides. The board of directors served as the core internal governance body responsible for monitoring managerial behavior and providing strategic oversight. Disclosure behavior, particularly narrative disclosure, involves substantial managerial discretion in terms of emphasis, framing, and tone. When board oversight is effective, overly optimistic one side or impression management oriented explanation are more likely to be questioned and corrected. Then I develop hypothesis one. Firm with larger board of directors exhibit higher level of market integrity as measured by MII. Second, sorry. Second, this study focused on textual characteristic of disclosure, especially the readability of management discussion and analysis. The MD&A represent managers' own narrative explanation of firm performance, financial condition, and further perspective, and therefore constitute the component of disclosure behavior. So I set up hypothesis 2, firm with more readable MD&A disclosure exhibit higher level of market integrity. Third, this study consider ownership structure with particular attention to institutional ownership by financial institution. Financial institution typically prioritize firms' creditworthiness, stability, and long-term visibility rather than short-term stock price appreciation. Then I develop hypothesis 3, firm with higher level financial institution ownership exhibit higher level market integrity. Taken together, these hypotheses reflect the core argument of this study. Disclosure integrity is not determined by single institution factor, but emerge from the interaction, governance oversight, managerial communication practices, and stakeholder relationship. So I move on. Research design. Having developed a hypothesis regarding the institutional determinant of disclosure behavior, I explain the research design. Okay, the empirical analysis focus on public listed Japanese firm. Japanese provide a particularly suitable setting for this study. Japan represents a stakeholder-oriented to institutional environment in which corporate disclosure is shaped not only by capital market pressure, but also by long-term relationship with creditor, employee, and business partner. The sample consists of firm year observation for company listed on Japanese Stock Exchange over study period. Financial firms are excluded due to their distinct regulatory environment and disclosure requirement. Standard data screening procedure applied to ensure data availability and consistency across financial governance and textual variable. So importantly, the use of machine learning in this study is not intended to maximize predictive accuracy. Rather, the objective of this is to identify which types of variable contribute most strongly to disclosure integrity and to understand how these contributions vary across firms. This approach is consistent with the study emphasis on explanatory explanation rather than classification. Okay, so before moving on the result, let me briefly explain how to interpret the sharp result. In this study, I use machine learning model CatBoost to integrate governance, financial, and textual information. However, when using AI, an important question always arises. Why does the model produce particular result? So to address, I use sharp value. Sharp value show how much each variable push the market integrity index upward and downward compare with the average firm. So sharp result review a very clear pattern. Governance variable are the most important, follow textual variable and then financial variable. For example, firm with larger board tend to higher MII score. Similarly, firm with more readable MD&A disclosure also higher disclosure faithfulness. This means disclosure integrity is not driven simply by financial performance. Rather, it is strongly shaped by governance structure and communication behavior. So I move on. Hypothesis test result. Okay. This the result provides support for hypothesis 1, which predict positive association between board size and market integrity. Firms with large board tend to exhibit higher MII scores, suggesting that broader board representation enhances monitoring capacity and encourages more disciplined disclosure behavior. This finding is consistent with the view that board oversight constrains excessive managerial discretion in narrative disclosure. The result also strongly support hypothesis 2, which posit a positive relationship between MD&A readability and market integrity. Firm with more readable MD&A disclosure consistently demonstrated higher MII score. This result indicates that readability is core component disclosure integrity rather than mere stylistic feature. Finally, the empirical findings support hypothesis 3, which predict that higher financial institution ownership is associated with higher market integrity, which with a firm with greater financial institution owners, institution shareholding tend to display higher MII score, suggesting that ownership by long-term credit-oriented stakeholder exert a disciplined effect on disclosure behavior. This result highlight the importance of ownership structure in shaping how firms explain economic reality to external audiences. So I move on discussion. The finding of this study offers several important insights into formation disclosure behavior. First, the positive association between both sides and market integrity underscore the role of internal governance in shaping not only decision-making, but also corporate communication. Disclosure behavior appear to be influenced by collective oversight rather than solely by manager intent. Second, strong relationship between MD&A readability and MII emphasize that disclosure integrity is fundamentally tied to how information is communicated. Readability facilitates understanding and accountability, reinforcing the notion that disclosure behavior should be evaluated as communicative act rather than technical reporting exercise. Third, the result related to financial institution ownership provide evidence that external stakeholders play a significant role in disclosure behavior. In the Japanese institutional context, financial institutions often maintain long-term relationships with firms, prioritizing stability and credibility over short-term performance signal. This environment may encourage firms to adopt more cautious and consistent disclosure practices. Taken together, these findings suggest that high-quality disclosure behavior emerges from interaction of governance, communication practices, and stakeholder relationship. Importantly, the result challenge the notion of disclosure quality can be adequately inferred from formal institution classification alone. So I move conclusion. This study examined the determinant of disclosure behavior by focusing on governance structure, textual characteristic, and disclosure and ownership structure. So the primary contribution of this study lies in framing disclosure quality as behavioral and institutional outcomes, rather than viewing disclosure quality as a function of market segment or regulatory compliance. This study highlights the importance of how firms explain themselves to the market. From a practical perspective, the findings suggest the regulator, auditor, and market participants should pay closer attention to disclosure behavior itself, evaluating the clarity, consistency, and institutional context of corporate narrative may provide a more meaningful assessment of disclosure quality than reliance on formal classification alone. Several limitations of this study should be acknowledged. First, that the analysis focus exclusively only Japanese listed firm, and the finding may reflect the institutional future unique to Japan's stakeholder-oriented market environment. Caution is therefore warranted when generalizing the result to the jurisdiction. Second, while market integrity index is designed to capture disclosure behavior comprehensively, it remains an empirical proxy for complex multidimensional concept. The construction of index necessarily reflects choices regarding variable selection and model specification. Third, the study relies primarily on quantitative measure of textual characteristic, particularly readability. Although readability is theoretically meaningful, it does not capture all qualitative aspects of narrative disclosure, such as tone consistency or rhetorical framing. So these limitations suggest several avenues for future research. First, cross-country study could examine whether the determinant of disclosure integrity differ across institutional environment. Second, future research could refine the measurement of disclosure behavior by incorporating additional textual and qualitative dimensions such as sentiment dynamics or narrative coherence. Third, subsequent studies could explore how market participants respond to variation in disclosure integrity, investigating investor analyst or regulator reaction would help link disclosure behavior to its economic and institutional consequences. By extending the framework developed in this study for future research can further enhance our understanding of disclosure behavior as foundational element of market integrity. Thank you very much for attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. Okay. Very interesting topic again about the integrity and also the index, the MII that you created and proposed to us. Professor Nakashima, I also am the one who do the research on ESG, like environmental, social, and governance, and also some part of the integrity. And I found that in Japan, the way that Japanese companies disclose the information on their financial statements regarding ESG as particular is very heavily, means that they disclosed a lot. Yeah, when we do different countries, like compared to Thailand, compared to maybe Malaysia, Indonesia, it's different. Maybe it's the behavior of what the Japanese corporate professors or the corporate companies, the managements of the Japanese companies are behave such a way. That's why they have the disclosed quite a lot. And may I ask you about the main key things, because you mentioned about the board size, right? The board size is one of the things that will influence the disclosures on the disclosures on their financial statements. In this board size, is there anything related to male and female, or just board size, the number of the committees in particular? Anything that you can add up on this, Professor Nagashima?
Thank you very much. So that is good questions. Could I share again?
Yes. Yes.
Uh, so
I have to move that.
yes. So we use gender. Can you
Gender as
see?
well.
Yes, but this means both sides contribute to MII a lot. So the priority one, but gender is also contribute to the MII. So I think the female director governance more stronger than only male board members, I think. So this is, good question. So is
It's
this
something
okay?
that we have to do more research on the male and female, yeah, on
Yes,
gender, yeah, and
yes.
why female board members will have the influence on disclosures, maybe about the transparency, or maybe some sensitive issues. That's something that leave for us to do. And likewise with the financial institution, right? Is also
Yes.
one of the key factors. Yeah.
Yes.
But when we say financial institutions, what are the in the scope of the financial institutions in your meanings?
So we call it main bank system. So have you ever heard of main bank system? So I think the main bank um, oversight. So watch the company's performance always. So I think the company corporate managers care at the main bank systems watching them. So that is why. So they try to disclose faithfully. So I think they would like to keep the uh, relationship between um, borrowing, or so. I think so. This is, I think, the typical Japanese uh, characteristic. So main bank system. Yeah, in Thailand. So do you have a such system in your country?
I think so. We will do have that one. Yes, and financial institutions always play the vital role to the
Right.
disclosures, to also the integrities. The if you may assess, it's like the MII. Yeah, but thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thank
And
you very
also, I
much.
really like to read your full papers on this one. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you
Everyone,
for.
please give Professor Nakashima a big round of applause.
Thank
And
you
Uh,
very much.
also, yeah, I'd like to also wrap up this. Oh, yeah, you have a
Can I?
question?
I have a small question to both the presenters. Actually, integrity
Okay.
in the financial statement, that is very important. The accountability basically depends on the integrity of the disclosures. But in countries, the example that has been referred here, these are all a little more developed countries, or in the horizon of the more advanced countries, both Japan and Malaysia. But is there anything for the what do we can do for countries like this, where the basis of disclosure is dependent on the IASB's, International Accounting Standards, and other things, where there is no commission associated with anti-corruption commission and other things. And if I look to my countries, where the financial statements are only being produced according to the standards, but there is no regulatory requirement for submission of any financial statement to any commissions or any other integrity sort of things who deal with these things. So what is there for those countries where it can be actually taken up to improve the accountability framework through the integrity and other things? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very key and very tough question. This one, if we ever to answer this question, we could develop the countries. We could help each other to hand by hands to develop the countries. And may I deliver this question to Professor Norma and Professor Nakashima? Or if you would like to give some opinion or response to this question?
Okay, thank you. Maybe I will just start. I think when we develop this for Malaysia, we are not focusing on the financial statement as such. I think we were looking at how to develop corporate integrity at workplace. Yeah, like because you see a lot of these leakages happen at workplace, maybe by the top management, by the board, even in some cases by the minister. So what we did, because there was a need for the company, because this can be taken by companies, not necessarily by a commission. Malaysian, like for example, our Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, they wanted to have it because they wanted to have the company to make a pledge. But once they make a pledge, how do they assess? So that was when we came in. So we didn't involve any what we call it international international policy, whatever. It was just by company. So company can do this on its own accord. So that was one we started. When we first started, it was just like a few companies. And then when the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission saw that this can be done, then they encourage other companies to do. And this is where we as academic can contribute, because sometimes they wanted to do something, but they are not able to do research, and they are not able to make benchmarking, what we call, with other countries. So this is where, because as academic, that's what we do. So we can start with one company who is willing to do, not necessarily like the whole country or the whole stock exchange. Yeah, just if one company is willing to do, that's how we can further improve. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Norma. If we start at one company, as a showcase, it could be a good idea as well. And the pledge that Professor Norma proposed is the corporate integrity pledge. We could do it country integrity pledge in the future. Yeah, that's a big job. Professor, we never retired.
Yeah, I never retired. Just tired. Tired and tired again. That's what retired means, yeah?
Okay, and Professor Nakashima, I actually for this question, if I may, for the sake of time, we also have the questions from the floor, from Professor Dr. Muhammad Musfigur Rahman. I apologize. Okay. And the questions, perhaps I think these questions rendered to Professor Musami Nakashima, that about your research, what is the area of the future research, Professor Nakashima, that in the future, if we would do it, what are the limitations from your research that we could do for the next one? And this is by two questions. Number one, area of future research, and number two is the limitations. I think we can incorporate these two questions.
Thank you for question. So we just use variable like readability as word diversity and kanji rate only. So your future research. So we will use katakana and katakana alphabet rate or another variable, and also so I just use Japanese public companies financial information and narrative information. So I think so next step. So we would like develop co-research. Malaysia, Thailand, and other country.
That would be a great idea to
Yes.
do for the future research. Yep. And
Yes.
thank you very much. Can I back to Professor Norma again? With the corporate integrity index or pledge, can we use the existing one, the one that you have, that you mentioned that in that assessment, you have 170 items, right? If
Yeah.
I am not mistaken, can we use the existing assessment this in the different countries, in the different contexts? Is it possible, or any adjustment?
Yeah, because I think the Dubinsky, Richter and Dubinsky is an international instrument. I think basically when we first approached them, that instrument was consultative, what we call it, for consultant, when they develop for companies. So we adopted, and we make some changes, and they give us permission to do that. Yeah, and I think you can do the same. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
In fact,
And
you can, if you want to actually communicate, because Dubinsky, when I met Dubinsky and Richer in London, they said, oh, you just email me, I will allow you to use my original instrument. But we didn't use his instrument, but we make some adaptation, yeah, to suit our Malaysian thing.
thank you. We have very intense discussions, yeah. And we also have the question from the floor, Professor Masumi. We have the beautiful girl here that would like to propose the question to you. Please, could you please come here and use the microphone right in front? And you will see that how beautiful she is.
Yeah. Hello, myself Muskan. Hello, Professor Masumi Nakashima. I would like to ask you about your empirical design. Based on 300 companies, you say, hello? Are you hearing me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can hear
I
you.
would like to know if there are any challenges of MII in digitalization of the design for whole design. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I will share again. Yes. Thank you for asking. So this is, yes, for Japanese public company. So, so we use Edinet. So from financial service agency, so that is free. And also the EOL database from, so we use MD&A, so narrative managers narrative information from EOL database. Okay, so is this answer for your questions? Could you ask me again? Sorry.
Okay. I would like to ask that if there are any challenges of implementation of MIA, what you designed, if there are any challenges from these companies?
Yes. First, yes. So we use Tokyo Shoko Research.
Isn't it
Pro-
primary data collection or secondary?
all public company. So all public company.
Okay.
So prime standards. So all segmentation, and but excluded financial institution.
Okay. Thank you. I would like to.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Thank you
question.
very much. I give her a big round of applause, everyone. Thank you for her braveness to ask the question. And I would say, I really admire Japan, in many ways. That one of the ways as a researcher is the completeness of the data. If you like to do the data, collecting the data from the secondary data, as you do here, right, Nakashima? You use from the year 2019 to 2023, and it's 15,120 firm years observations. This is huge, and this is can be done in Japan. Because it's a very complete data set. I also observed that from different database that's available. But in a different country, the same variables may be not so available like what you have done here, in your research. Any questions from the floor? Oh yes, we have. Can I say the time? Is the time still allowed? The MC? Is the time still okay?
Okay, one question.
Yeah, one last question from you. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Professor Kathy, for giving me the floor. This is Professor Dr. Taslima Akhtar. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Accounting and Information Systems, Jagannath University. Actually, this is not my question. This is a observation. I was hearing the total session very carefully, and I'm giving thanks to the emeritus professor Norma Umar and Professor Masumi Nakashima. Integrity, actually, it's a vast thing, I think, and this is high time we should address these issues. I will talk about the thing IFRS S1 and S2 that was addressed in the Professor Masumi Nakashima's presentation at the very earlier stage. Actually, in Bangladesh, before 2025, the corporate sustainability disclosure was totally voluntary. From 2025, they have make it mandatory to implement the International Financial Reporting Standard S1 and S2. And I'm trying to do some research about this issue. And Bangladesh Bank, as a pioneer of the financial sector, they have issued a guideline about the implementation of the IFRS S1 and S2, and other sectors it is still unexplored. Maybe I will contact with the professors later how we can make a corporate sustainability disclosure index incorporating all the sectors, not only the financial sectors, because we have a lot of sectors which are very vulnerable, which do a lot of environmental pollution, especially the textile sectors, cement and ceramic sectors. And as we are very vulnerable for the global warming and other issues. And I think this is high time if we could do a corporate sustainability disclosure index, and if we can make it by incorporate all the sectors, that could be a good thing for us. So I just want the suggestions. How can we do it, and how can we make a corporate sustainability disclosure index, and all the companies can follow this kind of things, and to make a more sustainable business in the country. Thank you so much, and maybe I will contact with you later about my issues. I hope you'll do a good response to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the questions. Not the questions, but maybe a request, Professor, because she wants to develop the corporate sustainability index that integrated all the IFRS S1 and S2, very hot topic nowadays, when we go everywhere, IFRS S1, it's scope 1, scope 2, right? And the scope 3, this very tough one, but it's very good that you are passionate on doing this. It's not easy, but it's doable. I believe that Professor Norma and Professor Nakashima are available for you. Yeah, perhaps you can connect her later on. Last word from Professor Norma and Professor Nakashima. Anything that you like to say at this moment, please?
No, because sometimes we do a lot of research. I think it is important that we do something that will benefit what we call the companies. Yeah. So because sometimes they certain things are introduced like ESG, yeah, but they are not so sure what ESG means and what are all these indexes. But we as academic, we want to do, and we also want to make sure that it is applicable to the corporation. So I think working closely with the companies is crucial when we do our research. Yeah, so that's why I think when we do it, they have problems, they have a problem to solve. We have the solution, how to solve what we call whatever problem they have. And that's how we are able to work together with these agencies. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor Nakashima?
So last month, I heard from the Japanese CPA about the sustainability situation. So the European countries, so the sustainability reporting is too much burden to the public company. So all over the world. So in European country and US country, also US getting shrink about sustainability reporting. However, in Japan, so we are leading right now. So I think please study Japanese situation about sustainability integrated reporting. So I think so. But uh, so I recommend. But MII just we focus on MD&A because so that is managers disclosures the behavior. So we need to talk. We need to talk about sustainability in the future. But thank you very much for precious comment for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nakashima and Professor Norma Omar. And I would like to wrap this morning session at this minute and also pass the time to the MC. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.
At this moment, we would like to request the online participants to turn on their video so that we can take a picture along with you. I'd like to request all the online participants to turn on your video, please, so that we can take a picture with you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
নাম তিনটা আছে আমি ডাকলে উনি আসলে নাম তিনটা দিয়ে দিবে আর কি। হ্যাঁ, আমি নাম দেখলে নাম তিনটা। হ্যাঁ, একটু পরে পরে এখন একটু পরে পরে তাদের। আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
পুরো প্যানেলটা জুরি বোর্ড প্যানেল।
আচ্ছা, একটু পরে, তার আগে একটা যে ট্রানজিশনটাই
কোনটা ডাকবেন আমি বলি। এই যে এইখান থেকে এই নাম এটা 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 6 জনকে ডাকেন।
5 জন
মঞ্চে আসেন।
এই 5 জনকে না?
5 জন মঞ্চে আসেন। বোর্ডের 5 জন।
আচ্ছা, যখন আমি অ্যানাউন্সের সময় ডাকছি। Yeah, I think. So if we all please have a seat, and so we can move on to the next session. Right. So I think we all understand the importance of integrity in our society. To have a just, equitable, or a healthy, functioning society, integrity should be at the core. So I really thanked the organizers and the people who put together to choose such an important theme for this webinar. Now, and also thanks to all of our keynote speakers, to our session chair and all the participants for this enlightening session. Now we move to the next session, which is about to hear from our brilliant researcher who has presented their posters. The people who are involved in research, or in academia, we know how much of a sacrifice and effort needs to be put together to organize a poster or any presentation. So I congratulate all of them who have participated in the poster presentations to put their effort to put together these posters. So we are all the winners. We are all very much appreciated for doing those things. And special thanks to. Can we have a clap to all the participants who have really put their efforts into it? Now, so we had this jury board who have worked really hard in the morning session to choose the 3 best poster presenters, and we will hear from them about their presentation very soon. And before I do that, I would like to call the jury board to come to the stage to announce the 3 best poster names. Professor Dr. Mujibur Rahman Hauladar. So if you all please come to the podium. Professor Dr. Nahareen Akhtar, Professor Dr. Ruxana Begum, Professor Dr. Abdul Qayyum Masood, and Professor Bazlur Rahman. So if you all please come to the podium to announce the 3 names of the posters. So I would like to request Professor Nahareen Akhtar, the treasurer of Bangladesh Medical University, to announce the 3 best presenters in a name.
Thanks a lot for giving me the vital duty to announce the top 3 name of this poster presentation. Now, first one, Firdausi Akhtar Priya. The second one, Dr. Nazmul Huda and his group. The third one is Muskan Hussain and his group. So have a great clap for 3 top 3 oral presenters.
So these 3 names were actually in random order. We will announce the names at the end of around 2 o'clock, at the end of the session. So what we want now, these 3 groups to come on the stage, and we will have a presentation from each of them. Each of them, I think, will have about 5 minutes to make the presentation to all our audience. So all of you, please come first. Let's take a picture, and then we will, break out to hear the presentation.
All right, so if you all have a seat, I will call the name of the presenters, and please, we are a little bit short of time. So what we do now, when I call your name, please come to the stage very quickly and make a presentation of 2 minutes, just to briefly let us know about your presentation. It doesn't have to go in the details, just for the audience to know what you have really done in 2 minutes. So let me call some name randomly out of those three: Muskan Hussain and group. So if you come and make a presentation of 2 minutes, please. And also, please introduce yourself. So when you come, you introduce yourself, your name and your affiliation, means which college you have come from, and obviously we'll talk about your title and a brief summary in 2 minutes.
Good noon, everyone. Myself, Muskan, from our team Metro 2.0, we're presenting a poster about digital transformation in corporate accounting and its role in ensuring integrity in financial disclosure. We have gathered this data from different sectors of corporates and so on. So first we have a introduction, key benefits, and then our methodology, main themes, and our focused point is our corporate collaboration, where we present a different corporates, management bodies, overview about digitalization, how this data will impact in real life transparency. So here we go on. Firstly, we see that we have some CMA, Ahmad Mohammad Tausif from Hassan Chartered Mohun Accountant, and Masood Karim from the Media Stream Limited. And also we gather some data from some other interviews from Akis Limited, from Evil Limited, Evil Bank PLC Limited, and some other companies. And then we show that how profitability goes by impacted by digitalization. We see that how in 2020 or 2015 and 2022, how this growth increasing day by day by impacted from digitalization. We also see that we have to maintain about accounting ethical policies. If we have go on a accurate accounting policy, we need to maintain some ethical policies that we also showed in our poster. And finally, it about to the conclusion how we implement the strong integrity, smart innovation, and digital accountability. Thank you so much.
So next, Dr. Nazmul Huda and his group. So if you all please come and make a presentation in 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. I am very grateful to this day. This day is very colorful and honorable day in my life, because Bangladesh Accounting Webinar is the very important role and positive role play in our society. As usual, not the corporate sector. It's help our all kinds of part daily life, and the Bangladesh university, actually this is the specialized university in the country, but this university, the great vital role play in the accounting system, as well as the today's I present the e-waste management system in the social and economic aspect. Rapid technology changes in our country and Bangladesh to generate more than 1 million tons of electronic waste annually. Unsafe and disposal of the e-waste management system in our country, and these are the very important role play in our society and the country if we are the actual and proper uses. But this system we are generated the primary data collected from the 100 respondent. This is very little in our country. This is very little sample collection, but we are start. The e-waste management system is the very important in our country. Our health system, our social recognition, our social role play, this is very good impact. If the country uses the e-waste management system, basically it's the very important role play in the health sector, and our most of the problem are depends on the health related factors. So e-waste management system is the basic matter. If we uses our the system we are dependent, but some limitation here. The number of sampling is the 100. It is very low sampling, but we are trying to our work in big way. Then we can use the sampling system is the very high, and our respondent person is the basically health related person are included, and Bangladesh University is the one of the sampling extraordinary role play in the country if the e-waste management system apply in this university firstly. In our country, no e-waste management system uses. We can try. This system is the profitability system, and economic benefit and environmental sustainability depends. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody to take some few minutes talk to in dais. Thank you, our APMAA Bangladesh chapter, Dr. Farhana ma'am, and in front of the dais, my direct teachers, Professor Dr. Saidun Jaman sir and others person. I am very much happy of them people. Thank you so much.
So the last one to present would be Firdausi Akhtar Priya. So if you please come and make a presentation.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. It's a great honor for me to hear and show my research work in front of you. A big thanks to APMAA to give me the chance. Well, we can see that 75% of our graduate students from accounting feel problem to serve in the industry level. And it's a big problem, and to solving this question, I found out a systematic literature review to bridging the industry to academia gap. Well, here I tried to use Prisma 2020 method. By this, I collect 40 papers, and from the 40 papers, I select 20 papers related to my topic, which is more relevant and very new, like 2015 to 2025 papers. Here we can see in all these papers, I found a pattern that there are if academia and industrial gap have to bridge, then must use digital accounting tools. In this field of academia, if you use the digital tools, it can be a bridge. Like 16 papers out of 20 papers shown that it increase academic participants of students, and it increases skills. It make students more more readiness for this industry, from their upcoming industry or farm, wherever they want to serve. In this graph we can see that here shown, it's not a local problem, that graduates from accounting department uh, students are not well, they are applicable, they are very strong in their academic theoretical part, but why they are not performing? It's just because of they are not using properly the digital tools, they are not engaged with the tools. So it's a great opportunity for industry and industry level to bridge the students and make them connected with the digital tools, and by this they can increase their practice, they can more ready for the industry, they can perform well, they will be very skillful. We see this in graphs, and other documents are here in a scan code. If we want to further know, we can watch this code for documents of my using papers. Thank you everyone. If anyone have any question, I would love to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, all the students. It's really great to see, all the, students doing a great job. And thanks to all the mentors, the professors who have nurtured them, who have, mentored them to be here. These are the future. So it's a very important role, I think, we academics play. And out of these three, it was good to see that two of them are from Eden Mohila College and one of them from Jamalpur, and congratulate to all the other participants also. I think now we move to the next session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a bit too tall to use that, but we will now begin session 2 of the webinar. Our panel session 2 is on accounting for health. The session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Said Abdul Hamid from the Institute of Health Economics, University of Dhaka. The session will also be chaired by Professor Dr. Kanitsan Papong. Again, I hope you're not too tired. I'll just briefly introduce her again. She is a CMA professor at Rangsit University, Thailand, and obviously a member of the APMAA Board of Directors. Our expert panelist for this session is Professor Dr. Shahinul Alam, Vice Chancellor at Bangladesh Medical University. Furthermore, we're also privileged to have with us Professor Dr. Shahazaduddin. He has joined us virtually through Zoom. He is a professor of accounting at Essex Business School, University of Essex, UK. He is also our distinguished panelist. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very nice to see you. And I see that no one of us going out. Everyone stay put, which is excellent. This is like we have the full room of the audience here. And for this session, we have two keynote speakers in this parallel session. The first. Okay, the first session under the topic of accounting for health, you would be thinking that accounting and health, and how come these two words link together? We will come and see that, okay? May I introduce to you the Vice Chancellor of the Bangladesh Medical University in Dhaka, Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahanan Alam. Please give him a big round of applause, please.
please.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. You have just about 15 minutes.
Okay. Can I use these?
Let me just. This will do. Just need to share the screen.
দেখা যাবে না।
Please go ahead.
It's good. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to the participants of this session, and probably good evening for the western side, and good morning for the western side, and good evening for the eastern side. My topic is accounting for health. It's a privilege for me to be here in the meeting of APMAA to present this topic. Do you think that I'm a specialist of accounting? No. Am I a specialist of health? Also no. I'm a specialist of liver disease. So my presentation will be not as a specialist, rather will be a layman in the background of accounting or APMAA. Though health, I'm not a specialist of accounting. I have to run with the health system, health budget. You know the total health budget of the country, it is about 41,000 crore. That is about 4 billion. 4 billion US dollar. To handle with this huge amount of budget in the health system, do you think it needs the accounting professionals? There is our treasurer, Professor Nahareen Madam. Do you think to deal with this budget we need the accounting professionals? Of course. Do you need the accounting specialist to manage this kind of budget? There is our director, Mr. Roton, Shafiqul Hassan Roton. Do you need the support of the accounting background people in the management of the budget? Yeah, he's not doctor. He's our director of finance. And career is from the accounting. There is teacher of Mr. Roton also here. Professor Saidujaman, Professor Rukhsana Begum. So it needs a bridge between the health system and the accounting professional. It is in the government sector. What about the private sector? You know that Square Hospital is the biggest hospital in the private sector. That is a corporate hospital. One of our panelists, Professor Hamid, is there. Please have your chair there, over there. Okay. Square Hospital is running. They have reported that 618 crore revenue in the 2023 and 24 with profit rising from 27%. The profit is 46.87 crore. About 2,500 daily outpatient they are usually managing. This crores of fund and crores of money is managing by doctors or the accounting professionals. What is your thinking? Mr. Bodrul, the additional director. Do you think this is managed by the doctors? Earning by the doctors, managing by the accountants. There are other scenarios. What about this university, the Bangladesh Medical University? There is a budget of around 848 crore every year. And there is other budget in the departments also. There are 58 departments and 35 offices. So there is 93 centers who are engaging with different income, expenditure, planning, procurement. There is Professor Azam from the Bardem Hospital, Professor of Gastroenterology. Do you think we can manage this without the help of accountings? Never. Impossible. Many hospitals are running in our country. It is about 22,000 hospitals are running in our country. at different level. Do you think there is option of job for the accounting professional? So there is chance of student of accounting who are engaging here very much. One of them I could understand the name was Muskan. Muskan, do you think there is option of job in the hospitals or the academic institution or the health institution for the accounting student? So there is bright future. So this is a point to be discussed. Patient turnover in the health system of our country, in the government hospital, about 18 crore patients are visiting the government hospitals. 18 crore visit we have to encounter. In the outdoor, you can see there is 9 crore up to the level of the Upazila hospital. Emergency, around 1 crore patients are participating in the emergency services. Admission around another 1 crore. So there is, do you think there is engagement of money for this patient? Professor Tasnyor from Jagannath University, do you think there is engagement of money? Yeah. Of course, there is investment, there is budget, there is planning, there is monitoring, there is audit. Everything is there. These are the kind of job, what we have been asking, what we are discussing. This is the job of the health accounting service. What is the health accounting service? It is a specialized application of financial management and principles within the healthcare sector. Unlike traditional commercial accounting, which primarily focuses on profit generation, health accounting seeks to answer the critical question about where does the health funding originate? How is it precisely allocated to spend? And most importantly, what tangible health outcomes are achieved for every dollar or every taka invested? It's crucial to note that while public and non-profit health organization focuses on outcomes, private hospitals often integrate profit-based accounting models, balancing healthcare delivery, quality, and also, of course, the financial sustainability. This is the health accounting. There is the differences between the health accounting and traditional finance accounting on the perspective of goal orientation, success metrics, accountability, and also the operational complexity. In the goal, traditional is profit maximizing and wealth accumulation. But in health, maximize the health outcome, improving the population well-being, equitable access is also very, very important, as because all the peoples are not rich. And in success metrics, in the traditional accounting, return on investment, stock performance, quarterly profits. But in health, how many lives are saved? How many disease is prevented? How many life mortality has been prevented? How much quality has been improved in the perspective of life? Accountability in the tradition, primarily accountable to shareholders, and for health, accountable to citizens, patients, communities, and public maintenance. Operational area is far more complex in the healthcare system. It is not only the accounting, health accounting, it directs the policy of the government, policy of the health system. And national health accounts are instrumental in informing and guiding the health policy decision related to coverage, financing mechanism, and equitable resource allocation at a national level. They provide key policy questions that rely on financial data, per capita spending, out-of-pocket expenditure, international benchmarking. All these questions will have to be addressed in the healthcare accounting. As because in our country, around 73% expenditure is borne by the patient himself. It is too high for the world. It is too high among the world. Our target is to reduce it to up to the 32% by 2023, though we are going backwards. You know that every year, around 5 million people are becoming poor for their health expenditure. If a patient is bearing the expenditure of the renal failure or a cirrhosis, they will become poor. Not he only. Total family will become poor. Every year, more than 50 lakhs, that is more than 5 million people are becoming poorer for the expenditure of their healthcare expenses. If we do not address this kind of catastrophe in our country, is it could be addressed by only the healthcare professionals? No. It should engage the health economics people, accounting people also. Hospital financial flow, is it managed by the doctors or clinician? Never. The treasury, revenue cycle, procurement, asset management, reporting, everything is done by the accounting people. So this is the day of the accounting people to engage in the healthcare system. In our country, you know, the private health system is far dominating than the government health system. So in increasing the expenditure, to minimize the expenditure, we, in a joint venture by the healthcare people, that is the doctor or healthcare worker, and the accounting people or business people should manage a policy, should recommend a policy to the government how to reduce the healthcare expenditure in our country. It is our professional responsibility. Cost analysis. It's important in the accounting side, but also important in our healthcare side also. If we invest for an ECG machine, I have to analyze the cost, how much profit it will give, how much service it will give. Is it possible to complete it by the physician? No. Every aspect we are very much involved with the accounting professional. Budgeting. We have to do budget. We have to evaluate the budget in the middle of the financial year. We have to budget expenditure, you know, in our healthcare setting, in the government setting, also in almost all of the institute, government and private hospital, budget implementation is very poor. I've told that the total budget is 42,000 crore in the healthcare sector of the country. In the last year, 10,000 crore could not be expended. Expense was not possible. If a good budgeting, good planning is done, then it will be improved. By 10,000 crore taka in our country, we can establish at least 10 private hospitals as like a square hospital. We are missing that for this improper management. We hope that in future, in the combination of the healthcare professionals and the accounting professional, it will be increased. Do you hope that? Is it possible to improve? Cash flow management. You know, in different times you have seen in the newspaper, in the middle of the year, the ECG machine is out of order. Why? ECG paper is not available. Reagent is not available. CT scan report is not available. Why? Cash flow management was not proper. Who will do that? That again accounting. What about procurement? Who is doing that? That is also accounting people. Maybe graduate, maybe chiefs, maybe procurement specialist, maybe even faculty. In our planning committee, there is a professional member from the Institute of Chartered Accountant. We have to procure a procurement specialist to maximize our procurement strategy, as because this year we are on board of 150 crore taka for the procurement of the medical instruments. Is it not easy? The only thing is here the equitable financial access in the healthcare system. Our healthcare system, the criticism of our healthcare system is not equitable. Accessibility and equity is the question, as because in our healthcare system, everyone can get the healthcare services if he has got the money. Do you think if a patient has does not have the sufficient money, he is sufficient to have the healthcare services? Many of the times it is not possible. How the developed world has addressed this kind of inequality? In those countries, those who are the rich, they pay the more, and those who are the poor, they pay the less. It is the regressive financing model. But in our country, it is not available. The regressive financing model, if we can establish in our country, many of our people will get the services. Is it possible for me? Is it possible to introduce by me? It is the Zakir Hussain, who know every procurement of our university. Oh, 5 minutes. Social health coverage or insurance, it is also important to save our life. Cost benefit analysis, it is also important. We are buying the machine. Is it beneficial for the patient? It is also important. Audit. Who will respond with the audit? We have got the assistant director audit. It's not from our profession. It is from your profession. Donor fund management, it is also important. As because donor fund, they are very much stringent in the management of accounting. Inventory management for a healthcare system. Who will do that? Is it me? No. Financial profiles by disease category. Every disease has got its financial importance. It will also be done by the accounting people. Even in the environmental change, there is many disease that involves with the climate change. That is increased disease burden, malnutrition, respiratory illness, mental health illness. Who will do that? Digital transformation, what has already been discussed, it will be also managed by the accounting people. Even the AI application in the accounting, in the management, it will be done by the accounting people. In conclusion, what do you think? We are in need of accounting people or not? Obviously. If we want to go forward, we have to engage with the accounting people in the measuring the revenue and expenses, allocating the revenues, calculating the depreciation, generating the accounting reports, tracking reimbursement, developing the budget, and monitoring financial reporting. So I think that I could engage all the accounting people in the healthcare system. We hope that in near future, not only in the budget management, fund management, for the research also. If we consider the health system as a human body, the money is the blood, and the artery is vein, and vein is the accounting people. So the health system will run with the blood and the accounting people. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Professor, would you care to stand here for a second? We will do the question. if it's
I'm not expert in accounting.
Yeah. Well, you seem to be a professor in accounting.
Oh.
Aren't you? You're not in the medical sector anymore. Or you can do dual positions. Okay.
I can make a plan for future in Rangsit University.
Well, that's we are in trouble, Fana, because he planned to come into this accounting career. I see that a lot of questions actually raised from your talk. I think it's very good for thought because of the budget is in any country is limited. In Bangladesh as well, right? Also, and I see the number of the patients. That's one of the slides that you mentioned about the male and female patients. Okay, and I see that female patient is more exceeds, right?
Yeah, right.
And,
It's right.
why it is such?
Oh, in our country.
That is in medical issues and not in accounting. But when I look at the numbers, why female comes to the hospital more than male? But I have the question. I have the answer inside, but I will share you later. Let me listen to your response.
I can respond in positively one that our health system is more in favor of the female. There is priority for the female. But in another thing, many of our population are non-resident Bangladeshi. They are engaged in works in the outside the country. So female population are more is serving in our country and living in our country. For this reason, especially in the Upazila Health Complex and the sub-district level, most of the patients are female.
Oh, I see. Can you say roughly in numbers, like how many percent female to male?
In the population, it is almost equal. But in the healthcare setting, health-seeking persons are more from the female side.
I see. Okay, but my response at first when I saw your slide, why female is more becomes the patient more than male, because we females, we like to care for ourselves, you know. when we are sick or we feel unhealthy with some reasons, we reach the hospital. While for male, maybe another issue. Maybe they are more patient, you know, to more endurance to their health concern. With this,
It's the data of the government sector, but it's data of the private health sector. Maybe the different. I don't know actually what is the data in the private sector. Maybe it may be the different.
it may be different, and also, but this one is as a whole country, right? The numbers as you said, and the number of the entities, healthcare entities, also quite huge.
Yeah.
But the public sector, public hospital is only few, right? The public hospital.
In the total patient data, around 60 to 70% patients are going to the private hospital, and rest of the amount is coming to the public sector.
I see. I see.
So in our country, the private health sector is dominating, not like your country.
Right. That's why in our country we have the medical tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that people come to.
Many of the patients from my country.
Yeah. Yes, people come to the Thailand, to do the health checkup, to do the dentist services.
Sometimes it is the need, sometimes it's glamorous to go to the Thailand.
Yeah, yes. Welcome, everyone. And okay, with that, there's a linkage in accounting and medical sector, the health sector. I think in any sectors, not just related to health sector, accounting can be a part because the business is accounting is the business partner in any business sector. Either it is the tourist, either it is the textile, manufacturing, or the service company, or the medical or the health sectors. Everything we need to collect the numbers. It's the but now.
But it's always going to accounting.
But nowadays, we move beyond just the number because of the creation of the AI. But I really appreciate that you see the importance or the of the accounting and also the finance as well. Thank you very much for sharing this indeed information. It's very helpful. I would like to raise the question from the floor if anyone wants to have the questions. Okay. Now the questions comes. Well, the questions is from our beloved professor. Okay, I have the issues. Next time, print it bigger font. Next time. Okay, I have the eyeglasses here. I cannot see. You don't come to this age, you don't understand. Okay? Until you come, you All right. Professor Emeritus Dr. Norma Oma to host a panelist. Okay, they said that she said the interesting discussions. How do you measure now? This is the question: cost to life of patients seeking health care at the private hospital and public hospitals. Of course, they're different, right?
Of course,
the cost that charged to the patient for public hospital and also the private hospital. Could you please elaborate on how to measure the cost of life of patients? Oh, that's a tough question.
Oh, do you think it's possible to answer for me? The cost of life. I think I can take help the president of Bangladesh Accounting Association. As because always we need the accounting people to measure the cost of life, cost of investment, cost and benefit analysis.
A very hard question.
Very hard question.
Very hard. Cannot, Professor Norma, I think allow him to think for how long? Huh? How long?
1 year.
1 year. Okay, good. Fair enough.
After
Fair
having,
enough.
after having the masters of accounting from your university or from ARI.
Okay. As a promise, 1 year. Yeah, I would think so. We need a research.
Professor Norma can help us.
Yes, Professor Norma, you can help us. Actually, Professor Norma raised an interesting question. If we are going to
Sure.
measure the cost of the patient healthcare expenditures, how much that on average, because individual person is different, right? And on average, that's how much is it? Yeah. Not for the cost of life, for maybe the cost of the hospital bills. Yeah, if you may, please. Yeah.
Hello. First of all, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Professor Shahinul, the Vice Chancellor of this Bangladesh Medical University, and the chair. It is really very interesting. To me, I felt I really enlightened with Professor Shahinul's presentation. I'm enlightened. I learned many things, but I'm a professor of accounting, retired professor of accounting, and now the president of Bangladesh Accounting Association. So it is, as Professor Norma raised the issue, the cost of life. In Bangladesh, the cost of life actually is supposed to be measured by cost of healthcare cost per individual per year. Unfortunately, whatever has been discussed by Professor Shahinul, the presentation actually covers an institutional accounting. This is what we call private accounting. Accounting vis-a-vis cost centers, and all these things are related to actually management issues. But when it comes down to national healthcare system, and unfortunately, national healthcare system is represented by actually system of health accounts. The system of health accounts actually accumulates the global, is part of the global accounting system, health accounting system. So it comes through SHA, OECD developed and accepted by all nations, that the per capita health expenditure for each individual is decided at the top management level, that is state level, according to the resources and the that is allocated for the management of the health care per individual. In Bangladesh, it is so meager. It is so meager that it is a shameless area. It is a shameful area for all of us to listen to this. It is the allocation per year allocation of GDP is less than 1%. We can imagine how neglected the healthcare is in Bangladesh. Per individual, the allocation is less than, is in between 2,000 taka to 2,500 taka. And per in annual increment in the per capita in health spending is only 186 taka, the latest one.
How much is it if
It
we
is
go in US dollars?
1.4 cent, $1.04 only.
$1.04.
So these things actually is really very interesting to take into discussions by Bangladesh Medical University Vice Chancellor and the institution as a whole, to take up this discussion that how the national, when it comes down to the discussions of national health accounts, it is absolutely different from what he has actually explained. And I appreciate actually today our Professor Farhana. Farhana's husband, I'm sorry to discuss these things, Farhana is very
The
successful.
family business.
Farhana is very successful in
Very
educating her
successful,
husband
yes.
and take into the control that accounting is the most important part of
Correct.
our individuals, right?
Give
From
them a big round of
big round of
applause. Please.
because
please.
it is from individuals to family to corporate institution, wherever accounting is important as an institution. Accounting is important as a discipline to improve the quality of life through the accounting system, through the management of, through the financial management, so that resources are accumulated in the appropriate manner, captured in the budget, and budget is spent according to the rules of the country. So all these things are absolutely predetermined, fait accompli. Now the question is how much resources are being allocated for the welfare of the citizens. The allocation is meager when is annual budget is allocated, and health remains at the bottom end of the budgeting system of the enterprise. So that is where actually the per capita health expenditure from the government exchequer is negligible, wherein the government institutions, healthcare institutions could not provide appropriate level of services to the citizens, and citizens are compelled to go to the private hospitals where the ethical issues remains a big one. So there is no ethical issues, and according to the latest estimate, the healthcare accounts is very poorly defined and very poorly defined. I am not sure whether you will agree with this, and this amount is not actually equitable in terms of the administrative expenditure of the institution like Bangladesh Medical Universities. So our urge from the our taking out from this, it can be an issue that the government has to take these things more seriously to make equitable distribution of the resources for the healthcare of the individual, so that Professor Norma's question can be addressed, that it can be improved per capita contribution to the individual's health across the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this long response, but I think it's very meaningful and give us some thoughts. Next time we could invite the government officers to listen to the presentation like this as well. I think it will be very useful. There's a question from the floor as well.
No, it's not a question. Just I would like to supplement the answer of Professor Dr. Harun Rashid sir. About the cost per patients of the life, I think Professor Shahinur, he's from the health sector and physician, and rightly he explained what are the importance of the accounting in the health sector. Today, when I was coming to the seminar, my wife asked me, "What is the health accounting?" She's not understanding about it. So anyway, the way we can measure the cost per life of I can explain like this way. It depends on the hospitals, because public hospitals and private hospitals expenses are different. As we know that the public hospitals, most of the costs are borne by the government, and in the private sector, the patients are to pay everything actually. So in case of the disease treatment, what we do, we need some materials as well, like medicines, and we have to use some machineries for which there is some expenses. And also there is a consultancy fees of the physicians. Okay, in addition to that, if it is the private sectors, they make some profit as well. So we have to add the material cost, the physicians, consultancy fees, as well as the desired profit in case of the private sector. However, in case of the public sectors, we do not make any profit usually. We need to deduct it. However, we add some additional money to the expenses. So in conclusion, that the cost of life, cost of patients, cost of life depends on the where the patients are taking the treatment. If it is the public sectors, the cost of life is very low because most of the expenses are paid by the government. Subsidized by the government. But if it is the private sector's, cost of life is huge. But the way we calculate or measure the cost of life, it is the cost of materials, cost of consultancies, and the desired profit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your response. Give them the big round of applause, everyone. We have very intense section here. I really wish that we would have more time than that. Next time we expand 2-day conference. Maybe 2 days, not just 1 day.
One minute from my side, there is many of the print and electronic media. They will cover the news of this session. So I want to speak in Bengali. আমাদের গণমাধ্যমের জন্য আমরা বলতে চাই যে আজকের এই সেমিনারের মাধ্যমে আমরা দেশের জনগণের প্রয়োজনে স্বাস্থ্য খাতে এবং স্বাস্থ্যনীতির প্রতিজ্ঞা অনুযায়ী কমিটমেন্ট অনুযায়ী আমাদের স্বাস্থ্য খাতে বরাদ্দ বাড়ানো প্রয়োজন এবং এই বরাদ্দের জবাবদিহিতা এবং প্রকৃত ব্যবহার জনগণের স্বার্থে জনগণের অনুকূলে হবার প্রয়োজন। ধন্যবাদ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
Thank you very much. And okay, that this topic is a very hot one, and we can continue and continue later on. Well, we have another panelist, okay, the keynote speakers as well, and he is a professor. Just a second. He's a professor from the. You will introduce, right?
I will introduce.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. I'll leave it to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I will introduce Professor Shajaduddin Hasan. Okay. Very good. Okay. Let me introduce first. My name is Syed Abdul Hamid. I work at the Institute of Health Economics, Dhaka University as a professor. So our next presenter is Professor Dr. Shajaduddin. Let me introduce him. He is a professor of accounting at the Essex Business School and director of the Center for Accountability and Global Development at the University of Essex. He is the founder editor of the Journal of Accounting and Engineering Economics. In recognition of his pioneering work, he received the British Accounting and Finance Association's Distinguished Academic Award in 2022. His research examines how accounting functions as a social and political practice, studying themes such as labor control, governance, sustainability, and development across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. In 2024, he was awarded Fellowship of the Academy of Social Sciences for his significant contributions to the field. I think he has joined online, so let me request him to deliver his presentations. His time is 15 minutes. So Professor Shajaduddin, maybe you can hear us. So if you can show us, so you can start your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. So dear guests and participants, very good morning from the UK. In fact, it's very early morning here. So I'm going to share my slides and tell me whether you can see my slides. Can you see my slides?
Yes, please go ahead.
It's good.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so this is the topic I wanted to talk about, this healthcare reforms and accounting. I'm quite, my previous speaker, Vice Chancellor from BMU, I'm kind of enlightened, to be honest, to hearing this dire situation of Bangladesh, healthcare situation. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm born and brought up, educated in Bangladesh, and have some practical experience also having taking healthcare context and situation in Bangladesh. So I've got some primary experience. I don't have this sort of detailed understanding the issues of cost and quality of healthcare. And thank you, the Vice Chancellor, for enlightening me on that. And I'm going to reflect on it in my talk and to compare with other countries, and also talk, sort of give you some ideas of how we can learn and also not learn from the rich nations. I'll tell you why this is important. Excuse me. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today, I think we did talk about today during this presentation, and also question from the audience. It's about the cost and quality and equity. And these are very, very important issues, right? I mean, these have been talking about it for centuries now. And it's still we're talking about it and has not been resolved. And at the center of it, you'll probably realize that, the previous speaker talked about the accounting as being the center of this kind of debate, is because accounting has been used as a center of debate in reforming healthcare sector all over the world. And I'm going to talk about what accounting-based reforms has promised and missed. So this is probably, you can reflect on it in the context of Bangladesh. So maybe I'd like to hear from you how that can be understood. I think main point of my talk today is not to take, I've been living in Western countries more than 35 years, and basically more of my life in this country than Bangladesh, is that not to take Western reforms as it is, because any reforms, be they healthcare or any other reforms, are very much contextualized. So taking anything from the West doesn't mean it's good for Bangladesh or good for any other country. So I'm categorizing here is Western reforms from the majority world. When I say Western reform, I meant like USA, UK, and few Western European countries. And the majority world is basically other countries, non-Western countries, including Bangladesh. So these kind of key issues I'm going to talk about. Why the government all over the world are interested in reforming healthcare. I think I already mentioned that. One of the main issues really is about the fiscal pressure around the world healthcare sector, and also aging population. This is the key problem of particularly for rich nation. And the expectation from the citizen are much higher than before. And as you know already, pandemic has exposed system fragilities around the world, including UK, USA, and other countries. I'll show you some slide, statistics here. I think have a look. I mean, this is quite revealing one. If you look at here, this is a table about aging population, health spending, rich nation, and Bangladesh. I added Bangladesh here because I know this forum is being organized in Bangladesh. So look at the top of the table. That's United States of America. They spend almost like 17% of the GDP, and the GDP is big, the largest economy in the world. They spend 17% of their money on healthcare. And the population over 65 is 18%. So it's quite a high number of older people. Now, does it mean that they have the better healthcare in the world? Is in one sense, yes. In other sense, absolutely not. Because the United States have 30 million people, 10% of the population have no health insurance. Means they don't have the access to usual healthcare. So spending more money does not necessarily mean you have a better care. So this is quite important point for us to remember. Why United States spending so much money is still not getting care? is simply because their hospitals are run by private companies, private hospitals, and their main concern is profit, not healthcare of citizen. Now, if you go down the other countries, Germany, France, Japan, Canada, United Kingdom, and other countries, they have much lower GDP rate on the healthcare. I'll talk about Japan particularly because Japan is a very unique country. Except Japan and other countries have lower GDP. Japan is 11.4%, but Japan has population over 65%, sorry, 30% over 65. It's just a unique problem Japan is experiencing. I'll talk about that later. Nevertheless, these are the countries spending almost like 10 to 11% of the GDP on the healthcare. And these countries have one common thing. What is that? They have a universal coverage. Everybody has an access to healthcare. And this is quite important. United States has not, but other countries has. So it's interesting that that even though they're spending less money, they can provide the healthcare for everyone. Now, have a look at Bangladesh. I think it's already talked about by the Vice Chancellor, that Bangladesh is 2.4% of the GDP on healthcare. And understandably, the 65 world is only 6 to 7%, but it still is pretty low. And Bangladesh is not unique in that, in terms of poorer nations league tables, but it still is very, very low. You can imagine that our president of Bangladesh Accounting Association are making a plea to the government to increase spending on healthcare. So it's clearly one can see the differences between these countries. Now the question is, do you want to take prescriptions from this country if you are in Bangladesh, or if you're in Thailand, or if you're in African countries? This is something I want you to think about. And I also talk about a few issues here. So one of the things that they do want to, especially donor agencies and other multilateral agencies want to do, is that in terms of reform, they want to transport model like NPM. I'm not sure that the audience are familiar with this term, but I'm sure you are. Is NPM meaning new public management? Basically, the idea is that you treat public sector as if they're private sector. So in that case, the efficiency, performance is at the center of it, and hence the accounting is the center of it. So accounting is always seen as a kind of a technology would make sure that efficient allocation of resources happened. At the same time, the idea of how numbers can be equated to the care. So this is also something we need to think about. So in any case, this kind of models being transported by various countries, by donor agencies and other countries to majority world, where the contexts are so different. So accounting at the center of the reform, I think the previous speaker talked about how accounting is so important in healthcare, not only in healthcare, in all public sector and private sector, in the economic development in broadly speaking, because you're talking about the costings, you're talking about performance measurement and so on and so forth. But I'm warning you here is this argument can be used in both ways. When you don't have the money, you use accounting to bring more money. When you have more money, then accounting can be used to reduce the quality of care. So this is the kind of issues here. So accounting is always the center of the reform. Assumption is better numbers means better care, which I already said it is not necessarily so. In the previous slide, I demonstrated that United States spends 17%, yet 30 million, 10% of the population don't have the healthcare. So better number doesn't mean better care. And so therefore, the appeal to the policymakers and funders, not necessarily accounting and is important, not necessarily giving more money means better care. So measurement, how do you measure things? This is the very important point that I'd like to mention here. So in the UK, for instance, where I'm at, they use different kind of measurements to control, to make sure that public hospital run smoothly. For example, and how long the patient is waiting at the emergency and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, this kind of measurement creates kind of unintended consequences. And it has been seen by the reports that hospital managers manipulate the numbers to create the better better position. So that is that indicators, if you simply use indicators, that will kind of reshape behavior of managers of the hospitals. And you have a risk of symbolic compliance rather than substantive compliance. So, so these are the key issues that I want to talk about. So let me go to the next slide. For some reason, okay. So now I'm going to explain the bit of a case study that I've done in Czech Republic, and very quickly. I know I don't have much time, and also then Japan. I've done research in both countries. So Czech Republic is a post-socialist system, meaning that they used to have universal healthcare coverage funded by the government, but this suddenly, as soon as they sort of came out of this socialist system, or being a part of European Union, they had to transform their system. But and again, when they transformed the system, they kind of took the idea of European understanding of how they control cost of the healthcare, and using a system like DRGs is one kind of NPM tool. DRG meaning that diagnosis related groups. Basically, the idea of this here is simple. You make hospital compete with each other for patient, and therefore they will be efficient. So that kind of idea. And you also make sure that it's funded by insurance companies, and they will also be efficient. But it seems like none of those things worked. So therefore, the number of times they have changed, withdrawn, reintroduced, they have not achieved transparency, they have not achieved efficiency goals. There's a lot of professional practical concerns around those.
Professor, you have about 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you very much, Kathy, for reminding me.
You're
So,
welcome.
so this is like, so now Japan. So Japan is another case study. So what Japan did, Japan is quite unique than among the rich nations. So I'll put Japan in the majority world category. So Japan is rich country, but not Western countries. Therefore, they have a system, their own cultural, historical roots of medical profession. But at the same time, Japanese government wanted to have the Western style of reforms. So we studied that, how these reforms are operating in Japanese hospital. So in our experience, we demonstrated in the paper published that the hospitals tried to introduce similar type of hospital governance, like private style governance. But what really transpired is completely different, because Japanese medical profession is so different than many other countries. Is that in Japan, the doctor, the physician, in fact, dominate the hospitals. And previously, our previous speaker talked about the physician and accountant and role of accounting in the thing. But in Japan, the accounting is there, but it's very much kind of a low chain of the food. I mean, they're not there. They're not in the governance. They're not in the management position, and so on and so forth. It is the clinicians that who run the hospital. So it's kind of a opposite what new public management was trying to introduce. And that's basically made boards weakened, citizen accountability diluted, cost control displaced by staffing imperatives. What is actually happening in Japanese situation is that physicians don't care about the cost. They want to make sure that patients get the quality care. So therefore, they are always in need of money, either from the local government or for the government and so on. So the things didn't work. Basically, that's the idea. So the reason why reforms travel poorly, because the power structure in the country they're taking the reforms in are different. Labor markets are different. Institutions are different. History is different. Cultural norms are different. So therefore, any reform model to take in other countries are bound to meet with number of issues. So reforms meet local institutions. Accounting here is interpreted, not implemented, and therefore a lot of unintended consequences bound to happen. So the other thing, key policy message for me today is the accounting tools are good, but they're not neutral. And professional logics matter, and context is more important in when you take the reforms in your country. So implications, avoid one-size-fits-all solutions, design reforms with professionals. When I say professionals, it's basically healthcare actors, not only doctors, nurses, and other people, and balance fiscal discipline with care realities. So I want to
2 minutes
just
left.
lead this for Bangladesh. I'm just passing it too quickly. So reflection for policymakers and practitioners. I want to ask this audience, I want to think our audience here today in Bangladesh to think about these questions. Which accounting and performance tools currently shape healthcare decisions? This is the thing accounting people or accounting researchers need to do research on. And maybe I'd like to hear from you. Maybe you can tell me what's going on in Bangladesh. Which accounting and performance tools currently shape healthcare decisions in Bangladesh, for instance? Whose knowledge counts in defining quality of care? Is it doctors? Is it accountant? Or whose? Does politics affect care and cost? This is also an important question. If you have a conservative government in the UK, you have a less investment. If you have a Labour government in the UK, higher investment. So does politics affect care and cost in Bangladesh? How do professional power and informal practice shape outcomes? This is an important question because in Japan, I also mentioned that doctors are more powerful than other professions. So therefore, their decision-making is more important than others. And what reforms risk becoming symbolic rather than substantive? So I guess in Bangladesh case, I think what I heard before is main thing that we do not have any resources at all, let alone thinking about the reform. So maybe this is the more important question than anything else. So I leave it now for you, and I'd like to hear from you, and perhaps I'll be enlightened.
Professor, thank you very much for your speech. Thank you. We come to the discussion section, and we will have a few questions from us on the stage and also some of us from the floors as well. Please stay with us.
Yeah, Professor. This is a very nice paper that you have presented, and you have covered basically both the international aspect and Bangladesh aspect, and clearly shown the situation globally, especially the aged population, the healthcare expenditure in global context, and also in the Bangladesh context, and what's need to be done. I think I can open the floor whether the floor has any questions to you, and then I'll come later. So I can now open the floor whether you have any question to Professor Shajaduddin,
Yes.
And then he can respond.
Yes, sir. May I have yes?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
I am Professor Dr. Mohammad Ghulam Azam. I am currently working as the head of the Department of Gastroenterology and Hepatology at Bardem General Hospital. My hospital is a philanthropic organization. Actually, I like to draw attention of our Honorable VC sir.
Okay.
After his presentation, I came to know a lot about the gaps between our health service system and the management of, I would say, money, that is the accounting. Sir, as you are a stakeholder of our course curriculum in the postgraduate studies, so I think I would request you or suggest you if there is any scope to make ourselves, especially the postgraduate residents or students, to incorporate some studies or some lessons or some, we have a medical audit already. I don't know whether accounting is included in that course curriculum. If not, then do you think that medical accounting should be included in some few numbers, like 10 numbers for our postgraduate studies, not undergraduate, because undergraduate already saturated with so many subjects. So I think you are being a stakeholder of the policy making in medical education, postgraduate. You can think it, sir. Your comments, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your suggestion to include the accounting in the postgraduate course of all clinical subjects. Even though it is not yet included in our curriculum, we have introduced the evidence-based medicine. The main target of the evidence-based medicine is to reduce the expenditure of the patient. We have performing that. By this time, the university has been recognized as an ambassador of the evidence-based medicine in the world. In other way, we have been training our people, the clinician, and also our different persons in the department, the human character and the patient to get the patient satisfaction. That will also address the patient pain in managing the healthcare expenditure also. And also we have started the PPR training for all the department to earn the money or to have the money from the upper side and from the lower side also, and to plan and to utilize the money. What had been discussed by the professor says that the accounting is not only for the expenditure of money, but also collect the money also, or also to arrange the money, or also the budget of the money. I think those who are in the administrative post of the healthcare institution, of course, they must have to go through a training or a course. You know that there is hospital management course. In that course, it is included. And we will consider your suggestion in future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we have a group discussion. So the group, some of us from here, including me and Professor Shine and also Professor, and some will be joining from the outside the country on Zoom. So can anybody help us to arrange this chair? Up. Okay, maybe the people will be joining from the outside. So in this session, basically, we'll be talking different issues on health, especially the topics of this study of this event today. And we'll also definitely its healthcare financing is one of the bigger component, and health accounts. The issue that is being discussed here is very much related to the health financing issues. You know, in Bangladesh, is basically, as Professor Shainul already presented in his paper nicely, that we spend a very little amount from the public money. From the public money, we spend less than 1% of the GDP, but we spend a lot of money from out of pocket, about 73-74%. That means if we spend 100 taka in health, so we spend from our pocket about 74 taka. Government spend only 20 to 23 taka. Donor sometimes spends 5 taka, and insurance is very minimal here. Harun sir is here. He's working on insurance for many years. He has an innovative model. And NGOs also some basically spending very, very little. So these are basically health financing scenario in Bangladesh. And it has also been discussed that, the money given to the hospital, especially in the health sector, the lot of money is remaining unspent. And many factors are basically related with this expenditure, as he explained from his presentation, that the people sitting there, manager, the health people is the manager of the health services. Suppose hospital manager is the doctor. So doctor and that manager, basically he was not basically joined as a manager at the early career. He joined at the service as a doctor, and then maybe 10-15 years he is becoming a manager at the Upazila Health Complex, district hospital, and so on. But he did not get basically any managerial training. He does not know accounting, he does not know financing issue, he does not know how to communicate with lot of departments in the health. Suppose the Upazila Health Complex need to coordinate with many departments. One of them is EDCL. One of them is EDCL. EDCL is our essential drug. The government hospital need to buy medicine from the EDCL. That is one. Then there is NIMU, who are basically responsible of maintaining the medical equipment. Then also TEMU. Then also CMSD. Then also many other departments. So maintaining all this coordination, and there is also PWD or ACUD, Health Engineering Department, or Power Works Department, Public Works Department, So many coordination need to maintain by the manager, but manager that basically does not get any managerial training from the sector. And if the accounting people is not there, as Professor Science said, so it's very difficult to basically spend the money, and that is why money is remain unspent. So maybe we can discuss all these issues. So we have other panelists in the team. So I request you first to go.
Well, because I just get a signal from the floor that the time is up now, because we have to run to the other program. Maybe a very last question from me to ask Professor that yes, I'll ask you. No, not in accounting, but regarding to, but I'm linking Professor Sasha Uddin but requesting this question to you, because one of the Professor Sasha Uddin said about the aging population in Bangladesh also have to become the aging society, but not a lot as in other countries. Perhaps is it anything to do with the aging society and also the healthcare? Maybe a short response to this one.
Okay.
You know that Bangladesh is running with the demographic dividend. That means the maximum population are the young ages. But in future, what will be happen? A huge number of population will be aged. So the geriatric service will have to be increased in every hospital. Already you may have the studies from our corporate hospitals. Most of their beds are occupied by the geriatric people. So in the health policy or the allocation or in the health budget or in the healthcare financing, we have to allocate for the geriatric patient in future. Of course, it's a strong suggestion. Of course, we'll have to do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe time is where time has already been expired. So we have also some speaker from outside the country. So sorry for them, we could not connect them in this. Yeah. Maybe we can give them 1 minute for his.
Any comment?
Or they have to close it. Okay. So the closing time is now. So we do not want to extend the time. So let me finish this session here. Thank you very much for giving the chance and yeah. So thank you very much for giving the chance to talk here, and it's a very important issue that you have discussed today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so I know we are running a little bit over time. So let us not waste more time. It certainly has been a very vibrant and a meaningful and productive sessions. It is never enough to have this short time to discuss all of this matter, but at least it has, brought all of these issues to our mind. Hopefully, the discourse and the discussion will continue as we move into other kind of, platforms to do this. Now, what we do now, I think all of you have received your lunch. Then we also have a cultural program, not a long one, a very short one. Then we'll have a group photo session, and there will be some closing remark, but none of them will be long one, very short one. So we'll move into those things. But before we go there, we would like to make some award ceremonies and some appreciation certificates to our participants. And again, before I move on, thank you all for enriching this session or enriching this whole program with your presence, knowledge, and wisdom. Let us carry on with all this discussion. Now, for this award ceremony, can I have some of our distinguished guests to be on the platform, on the podium? Professor Dr. Shahinul Islam, Shahinul Alam, if you please come and help us distribute some of our certificates. Professor Dr. Haruna Rashid, President, Bangladesh Accounting Association. Professor Dr. Abul Kalam Azad, Pro VC, Bangladesh Medical University. Professor Dr. Sayyiduz Jaman, Accounting from Russia University. If you all please, come and help us distribute some of our awards. All right, so I will start first with our poster awards. So we'll start with the third position. The third position went to Miss Muskan Hussain and her team. So if you all please come to the podium. For the second position, Dr. Sayyid Nazmul Huda and his team, please come to the podium. So we would also like to... Professor Naharin Akhtar, the Treasurer of Bangladesh Medical University, if you please come and help us with the distribution. So the second position goes to Dr. Sayyid Nazmul Huda and his team. If you please take your certificates and awards. Okay. Dr. Sayyid Nazmul Huda and his team, Rahik also is here. So now the first position, I think you all know who the first position is because they were already here before. So if you all please be ready to come when... All right, the first one, Ms. Ferdowsi Akhtar Priyo. If you please come to the podium. So the nine, as I say, out of the three, two of them were from Eden Mohila College. So the first one and the third one, so the first one and the third one went to Eden Mohila College, and the second one was from the other institution. So Firdausi Akhtar Priya to receive her first award. এখন sequencing. এটা কি নাম? Sofikul Hasan. Sofikul Hasan. All right, so now we are ready to show our appreciation to the organizers for putting together such a vibrant program today. So let us start with our webinar chair, Dr. Farhana Begum, to receive her take this. Okay, so next we have webinar co-chair, Professor Dr. Abul Kalam Azad, please. Right, so we have webinar organizer, Mr. Khondokar Shofikul Hasan. Then we have our session chair, Dr. Kanit Sora, for putting together so many sessions for us. And thank you. If you please come. Then we welcome session chair, Professor Dr. Soyod Abdul Hamid. Then we welcome our master of ceremony, our, the youngest participant for putting together such a good script and organizing the whole sequence, Mr. Rahik Farhan. Now, please have some patience. Do not leave. Some of our students have put together some cultural program for you. Try to participate, and it's not going to take long. Probably half an hour more, we'll be able to close everything. So I request Rahik to take over and make the closing activities.
I kindly request the dance participants from Eden Mohila College to come onto the stage. Dance participants. Thank you to the students for that wonderful presentation. As we approach the conclusion of this remarkable webinar, I'd like to invite our distinguished leaders to share their closing reflections. May I respectfully request Professor Dr. Abul Kalam Azad, webinar co-chair and Pro Vice Chancellor, Bangladesh Medical University, Dhaka, to kindly come onto the stage for the closing remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We all are hungry, so I will not make you angry. So today's webinar is organized by 2026. That is APMAA, that means it's Asia Pacific Management as Accounting Association webinar, Bangladesh chapter. It is going to close. It is my great honor and privilege for me to be here in front of you because I am not a accountant holder, degree holder, or management degree holder. I am simply internist. I have no idea. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor has some sort of idea regarding the accounting and management because he lives with an accountant. She knows everything and she has a keen interest because my wife is here, she's also a doctor. So I have totally no idea. But really, today from here, I haven't gained a lot of knowledge because my vice chancellor's topic was aging population, and Professor Ghulam Azam asked a question: what can we do? Because we are performing the medical audit in our Bangladesh. Yes, the aging people, yes, near survival near 74 years. Mean age of the survival is that means our aging last limit of the age is near 74 years. So we are also increasing day by day. Our age is increasing day by day. So it is very important for us to build up something in the inner situation. So it is my Today's program is centered on emerging issues in the corporate communication, accounting for health from a management accounting perspective. And this is, if I consider it is innovation, integrity, accountability in the digital age, has offered us valuable insights into the two fields that are rapidly evolving and deeply interconnected. So first, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our webinar chair, that is Bashir's lead of Bangladesh chapter, Dr. Farhana Begum Aloapa, for her outstanding leadership in organizing this webinar. Her dedication, hard work, vision have made today's program truly successful. We are deeply grateful for her commitment to strengthening the academic collaboration and promoting the new ideas in the management accounting. And not only this, to arrange this webinar in our university, so we are able to gain some knowledge regarding the accounting and management. My heartfelt thanks also to our distinguished speakers, panelists, session chairs, jury board for their insightful contribution on corporate communication, accounting for health. I also extend my gratitude to all the participants, Vice Chancellor from the Jamalpur University Science and Technology, and President of the Accounting Society, and all the dignitaries and students, our faculties, and everyone to participate in this session. And finally, my sincere thanks to the entire organizing team for their dedication, teamwork. Thank you all for patience and contribution. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
For our next speech, I would like to invite Professor Emeritus Dr. Norma Omar for her closing remarks.
Professor, please turn on your mic.
Sorry about that. I was so excited to talk that nobody listened. Yeah. So okay, I wish to congratulate APMAA, especially Professor Ueno for this event, and also Professor Farhana from the APMAA Bangladesh chapter, Professor Dr. Mat Shahimul Alam, Vice Chancellor of BMU, I think for organizing this wonderful event. I was just wondering at first, how do we connect accounting and health? But of course, I think beside you live with some Professor Shahimul lives with an accountant beside that. But I think it is very interesting today, yeah, the event. And I wish to thanks all the speakers. So in the morning, we spoke about corporate integrity system and also market integrity index. Yeah, these are all what we call it, led by academics to develop some system that can be used by organization. But I think more importantly, I think we can also use this for the health sector. I remember looking at a book, yeah, written, and I was privileged to have written together with Prof. Sahimul on financing healthcare during COVID. And that was a very good experience for me. And when Prof. Shahimul talked about health accounting, the way he present it was very, very good. Yeah. So even when we talk from the accounting perspective, we normally just look at profit and loss and cost, but he raised other things like how do we do assessment on government investment. So this is very important. I raised the question how to how to value cost of life. In fact, it was just metaphorical. I didn't expect you to answer because it depends, you know, where you get the treatment, and most importantly, the cost of life is very, very, very important. Yeah, very important, and very important, and is not able to calculate. Try to say hello. But anyway, but I'm very deeply excited by looking at the question raised. And also I want to congratulate with the poster presentation that was presented today, and the many other students and universities who participated in the webinar. And I think healthcare reform paper was also very interesting, which I think we should look at it very seriously for the future. So the question that Prof asked, you know, who will be playing very important role in health reform? Are they doctors? Are they accountants? Are they political players? How about the patient themselves? I think these are questions that remain to be answered by all of us. You also have a very serious question, you know, by participant, which I think to show their interest in this sort of event. Above all, I want to congratulate all of you, all of you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor. And now for formal vote of thanks, I'd like to invite Mr. Khondakar Shafiqul Hassan, Director of Finance and Accounts at Bangladesh Medical University and member of APMAA, to come onto the stage for a vote of thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Nowadays in Bangladesh, health accounting and hospital management accounting is the first and foremost important factor of any country. Warm greetings and congratulations from the Asia Pacific Management Accounting APMAA Bangladesh chapter and our co-host Bangladesh Medical University. Thank you all for joining this joint webinar and conference on emerging issues in corporate communication and accounting for health from management accounting perspective. While the close of the program, it is my privilege to express our sincere vote of thanks. We are deeply grateful to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Emeritus Dr. Sosomeno, Chair of the APMAA Board of Directors, Professor Emeritus Dr. Norma Umar, and Professor Dr. Shahjaduddin for your valuable insights and gratitude. Special thanks to Professor Dr. Masumi, APMAA Board of Member, for the excellent expert lecture and added deep to today's discussions. We also thanks our session's leader, Professor Dr. Keniston Kethi, CMA Professor Dr. Musaddiq Ahmed Choudhury and Professor Saad Ahmed Hamid for the moderating the session so smoothly and ensuring the meaningful participation. Our sincere appreciation goes to our the eminent panelist, Professor Dr. Shahinul Alam, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Medical University, for your important reflections and encouragement. We grateful acknowledge Professor Dr. Farhana Begum, Webinar Chair and Head of the APMAA Bangladesh Chapter, for her leadership and coordination, and Professor Dr. M.D. Abul Kalam Azad, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Admin of Bangladesh Medical University, for his kind support. We extend our thanks to the jury board, Professor Dr. Mujibur Rahman Hauladar, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Research and Development, Professor Dr. Naharin Akhtar, Honorable Treasurer,